To save his heartbeats, he stopped laughing. And then he stopped hugging his daughter. It all began the day Arthur, a man who saw life as a problem to be solved, walked into a shop that had no clocks. There were only gears, springs, and dust that smelled like old time. Arthur was terrified of death, not as a tragedy, but as the ultimate loss of control. He controlled everything. The calories on his plate, the minutes in his schedule, the emotions on his face. Death was a glitch in his perfect system. The old watchmaker, whose eyes looked like two faded clock faces, did not ask what he wanted. He silently handed Arthur a heavy, silver pocket watch on a chain. There were no engravings on its cover, and inside, under the glass, there were no hands. There was only a single number, displayed in faintly glowing digits. 2,143,581,600. What is this? Arthur whispered. It is all you have, the watchmaker replied. Those are not seconds. They are beats. Your beats. Arthur's heart skipped, and he watched in horror as the number on the dial changed to 2,143,581,599. The watch was alive. It was him. Every beat is a choice, the old man added. Spend them wisely. Arthur took this not as advice, but as an instruction. Wisely meant economically. He ran from the shop and up the stairs to his apartment, breathless. He looked at the watch. In that short climb he had lost 300 beats. That evening, sitting perfectly still in his chair, he spent only 40. The system was clear. Emotions, effort, life, these were expenses. Calmness and stillness were savings. That night, his little daughter Lily, a girl with laughter in her eyes, told him a funny story about her dog. Arthur felt laughter start inside him, a warmth in his chest, a quickening of his pulse. He immediately pressed his lips together and forced himself to feel nothing. He checked the watch. He had saved 12 heartbeats. But when he looked up, the laughter in Lily's eyes was gone, replaced by confusion. It was the first crack in his world. Arthur turned his life into a temple of stillness. He moved slowly, spoke evenly, and ate bland food that caused neither pleasure nor disgust. His home, once filled with music and the sound of a child's running feet, became oppressively quiet. He stopped playing chase with Lily, because running was an unacceptable luxury that cost thousands of beats. He replaced it with chess, where the only movement was the twitch of a finger. The girl quickly grew bored and stopped asking him to play. The number on the watch decreased painfully slowly. Arthur felt like a winner. He was cheating death, stealing back second after second. But the price of his victory grew every day. Lily became quieter. She no longer ran to him to share a secret. She no longer told him funny stories. She was learning to control her emotions, just like her father. The point of no return came on a rainy autumn day. Lily fell while playing outside and badly scraped her knee. She ran into the house crying, her face wet with tears and rain, and threw herself at him, seeking comfort. "Daddy!" she cried, reaching for him. Arthur felt a sting of sympathy, a wave of love and concern. His heart beat faster. He instinctively glanced at the watch. Minus 40 beats. 50. 60. Love was stealing his life. He took a step back, pulling his hands behind him. "Calm down, Lily," he said in his flat, lifeless voice. "There is no need to be so emotional." The girl froze. She looked at him, and in her eyes was something worse than the pain from her knee. It was understanding. She silently wiped her tears, turned, and walked to her room. That was the day he stopped hugging his daughter. He saved a few hundred beats. But something warm and important inside him stopped forever. A few weeks later, Lily got sick. She developed a fever that would not break. Lily's illness was something Arthur could not control. It was chaos invading his ordered world. The doctor spoke of an infection and prescribed medicine, but the fever remained. Arthur sat by her bed, staring at her flushed face, and felt a cold panic rising inside him. He looked at the watch. The numbers were melting away. 1,000 beats. 10,000. 100,000. His entire saved fortune was burning up in the fire of his fear for her. He tried to calm down, to breathe evenly, but he could not. His body had betrayed him. In his desperation, he squeezed the watch so hard that his fingernail slipped along the silver rim and accidentally pressed a tiny, almost invisible button. The watch cover did not open fully. It clicked open just a little, revealing a second, hidden dial beneath the main one. It was made of gold, and it had a number on it, too. But this number was not decreasing. It was increasing. Arthur thought of the day Lily was born, when he had cried with happiness. He thought of his first kiss with his wife, when his heart felt like it would leap from his chest. He thought of moments of pure, uncontrolled laughter. For a moment he thought he understood. It was a system with two numbers. There were beats you spend and beats that fill some kind of internal power source. He should not avoid emotions, he should cultivate them. He was a genius. He had found a way to beat the system. Full of this new, selfish knowledge, he leaned over Lily. He had to feel love. Powerful, overwhelming love. To make his heart stronger. He looked at her sick face and tried to force the feeling, to command it to appear. "I love you," he whispered, but the words were empty. "I love you so much." He looked at the golden dial. The number did not change. His emotion was a fake, a calculation born from the same old fear. And in that moment he realized a monstrous truth. He was trying to use his dying daughter as a tool to save himself. He had lost. He was not just a fool. He was a monster. He sat in the chair, crushed by his discovery. The watch was useless. His system was a lie. His life was a mistake. He looked at Lily, who was tossing in her feverish sleep, and for the first time in a long time, he was not thinking about himself. He was thinking only of her, of how she smelled as a baby, of the way she wrinkled her nose when she laughed, of how her small hand felt trusting and safe in his own. The memories were real, and the love that came with them was real. It asked for nothing in return. Simply was. And then he understood the watchmaker's true meaning. Spend them wisely did not mean spend few. It meant spend them on what matters. Joy, love, grief, fear. These were not expenses. They were life itself. And he had not been living. He had been sitting in his prison cell, counting a currency he was too afraid to spend, until it lost all its value. He stood up. He walked to the wall and threw the cursed watch against it with all his strength. The sound of shattering glass and breaking gears was the sweetest sound he had ever heard. He ran to his daughter's bed, hugged her fragile, hot body, and held her close. He allowed himself to feel everything. The fear that he might lose her, the guilt for what he had done to her, and the enormous, overwhelming love that was breaking his chest open. His heart was hammering like a drum, and he savored every single beat. Lily opened her eyes. She gave him a weak smile and snuggled closer. In that moment Arthur knew he had won. Not against death. He had won against fear. A fear that was so much worse than death. He was no longer counting the beats. He was finally starting to feel them.